Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Haunt Jaunts. And you may notice a familiar face that we know from many shows. He's going to deny it. He's like, no, it's not me. But Dave Schrader has generously agreed to join us to talk about his new show, The Ghosts of Devil's Perch. So, hi, Dave. Thank you for joining.
Hey, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's my honor. I'm so excited you're here. Um, I have to start. So I got some screeners, and I won't ask. I know to be good about what questions, but
Sure.
one question that I have to ask because at the end of, and I don't know if it's part of the trailer. I didn't think to look, but definitely at the end of episode one, they do that. Coming on this season, and there's
Hmm.
a big you go down, Dave down as it comes. You're here, so that's great. You look great, but just when people see that, I know they're going to be like, is Dave okay?
Yeah, I'm not. I didn't survive it, folks. So I hope you enjoy this series because it's the last one I'll be on. I perished in that moment. It was yeah, that was an impactful, literally moment. And I don't want to give much away from it, but it's and it wasn't a ghost shoving me or something. I don't want to say what exactly occurs, but it's definitely intriguing and certainly opened me up to other perceptions of what kind of supernatural activity takes place. It's not all just ghosts and dead people. There are other aspects. There are time slip phenomena. There is psychic scarring. There is many different things that are at play in the town of Butte. And that's the concept of the new show, Ghosts of Devil's Perch, is that Cindy Kaza, the medium, myself, and K.D. Stafford, the mad scientist of the paranormal, we were invited to Butte because the mayor and the police chief were dealing with a lot of strange calls. And as a cop and the mayor, you can go in and drag bad guys out of a bar during a barroom brawl. But when there's something scaring the citizens in your town or making them feel unsettled in their own homes, they don't really know what to do in those cases. So we got a chance to go in and prove these people are not nuts, that they truly are having some kind of spiritual awakening. And they're in the middle of a revitalization process. So they're updating and tearing things down and building up new things and fixing up the old. And that can stir up a lot of paranormal and supernatural activity.
And to be doing it in two, well, at least two, like the revival of the uptown and the downtown,
Mm-hmm.
and so much historic. I mean, that's got to generate a lot of psychic dust,
Yeah,
I would imagine. Or
a lot of psychic dust, and it certainly plays into it throughout the entire series. And it's interesting the way the spirits choose to tell their story. And that's what this is really about. It's giving voice to the forgotten, to those that have fallen by the wayside of history. And we uncover some of these names that were just as important, maybe even more important to the settling and building of Butte's history, but they don't get the same accolades as the Copper Kings and the wealthy people
mm,
did. So this is really kind of about how to let these spirits get some rest by telling their story and doing it the right way.
that's phenomenal. And
Yeah. And we have some scary moments throughout the series and some really heartbreaking experiences. I would honestly say in this series, I have two to three of the most impactful experiences of my career to date. So you'll have to tune in to find out what those are, but one of them is definitely in the trailer when you see me hit the turf. It's I've kind of opened a new part of who I am to the paranormal, and you got to be careful when you don't know what you're doing and you're not well grounded or protected, and you start opening yourself up. You can have your energy messed with, and that definitely takes place this season.
and that's huge because you are such a veteran and you've
Mm-hmm.
seen a lot, been a lot of places. I mean, just done basically everything. So for you to come through and say that is like, whoa, that's
That's right. This is always a learning process. They refer to us as paranormal experts on the show. I know that'll rankle a lot of people, and there are no experts. Yes, there are, right? There are experts on everything. And it's the time and effort and work that you put into it that makes you an expert. It doesn't mean that you know everything, but an expert is somebody that has a good working knowledge and understanding of a situation and a phenomena. And that's what we do. And we're constantly evolving. That's why lawyers and doctors are considered expert witnesses, yet they're always in practice, right? Because they're always learning. That's an educational job. This is an educational job. So for people to get all wound up that, oh, these guys are calling themselves experts, well, in our fields and what we do, we are experts. People come to us constantly for advice, insights, input to evaluate their evidence, to communicate with the dead. So we each have our own kind of way of connecting. KD is, like I said, the mad scientist of the paranormal. He was on Ghost of Morgan City, which was the third season of this Ghosts of series. There was Shepherdstown, season 1 and 2 with Nick Groff and Elizabeth Saint. Season 3 was Ghosts of Morgan City with Ben Hansen, Sarah Lemos, and KD Stafford, and Jeremy Leonard, the Cajun demonologist. And then this is season 4. And they had rolled Cindy and I over from the Holzer Files into this new program and given us an opportunity to work together, which I'm very thankful for. I love Cindy like a sister, and being able to get a chance to work together again made it easier, I think, for both of us to enter into this new foray. And KD builds these amazing pieces of equipment, and as you see and have seen, if you've watched any of those episodes that they sent you, there's a lot of activity that he captures, and he gets some great content from it. Cindy goes in and as a medium, she taps in and does what she does, and she does it very well. And then my job as an investigator is a different aspect. I'm kind of the inquisitive journalist, and I use that term more loosely than I use expert, because I'm a radio show host, a podcast host with the Paranormal 60 podcast that I do. But I've 17 years of interviewing people, talking to people, pushing to get answers. So I think that puts me into an expert category. It certainly puts KD into an expert category. He's got an engineering background. He was an Afghani-Iraqi war vet. He knows what he's doing when he's building this equipment. He's testing theories and ideas. And Cindy is certainly an expert in what she does in the mediumistic field. So much so she takes and sells, or not sells, she what's the word I'm looking for? She hosts classes so that you can sign up and have her walk you through these things and teach you, which she was very instrumental with during this series to help walk me along and understand this kind of more awakening. I'm not saying I'm a medium by any means, but I'm becoming more attuned to locations and to spirit to give them an opportunity to be more connective with me. And that's what I said. This is a constantly evolving field. Where I stood 17 years ago in my beliefs to where I am now, radically different. Yeah. And in 17 more years, we'll be even more different. And 17 years after that, I'll be dead, and I'll tell you from the other side what it's like. So
that interview will be much different.
Yes, much different. Yeah. And I'll have a full head of hair and be much younger looking, because that's the way I'm going to choose to haunt people. 1980s, Dave.
Oh, awesome. Yes, I miss the 80s.
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, you covered a ton of the things, like it's like you knew, or maybe I'm getting a little bit better, but these were things I was going to ask. I'm like, yeah, he's just going right there. Thank you, Dave.
No problem. It's all about just going out there, inserting yourself into these stories and giving you a chance to understand the location, the history, the everything that's involved in that. And that's what I've been working on for the better part of my career now in broadcasting and investigating. Is I want to get out there. I want to not sit idly by and listen to people's stories, which I'm fascinated by. I want to go to these locations, see them for myself. When you tell me an entire town is haunted, I got to go. I got to check it out, right? I mean, I watch my friends on Shepherdstown and Morgan City, and it's not that I question them, but you sit back and it's like, until somebody tells you I had the best cup of coffee, and you're like, whatever, everybody's got the best. And until you take a sip of that mouth-watering deliciousness, and then you could say, oh my God, you're right, this is. I can watch my friends go to a town that's completely haunted and sit back and go, come on, can it be that crazy? And then you go to a place like Butte, and yeah, it can be that crazy.
And that brings up a question too, that have you ever, with all that you've done, investigated a scene, so to speak, so freshly, like in the first episode, and then you do it again in the second episode and so forth. But the police are there investigating
Yeah.
a potential attack, or a reported attack. They don't know who was unseen attacker. Then boom, you guys are there. Like, have you ever got to? And I mean, when you're investigating, sure, you hear something, but have you ever got to do that paranormal witness?
No, that was amazing to be like Johnny on the spot, because these people call the police. They contact the community, and the community knew we were there filming. So when they had experiences, they were much more open about sharing what was going
Oh,
on. And we had just this great opportunity to work among these people. I think the people of Butte are in for an interesting ride when they watch the series. And I hope that it opens up a conversation so that maybe there'll be another season. And if there is, I'd love to go back to Butte, because I think there's still so much more to uncover. We really got to one major source of the story, right? And that's by kind of pinballing through all the different angles, and then you get to that, big story. And I think now that we've hopefully help put some of that to rest, other parts of history can step forward. Other spirits that maybe were being held back by the spirits that were screaming the loudest, they'll get their chance to step forward and let us hear their tale. So I'm really hoping we get a chance to, you know, return to that area. And it's just amazing, because we were there less than 36 hours, and we were boots on the ground running out the door, because Sheriff Lester's like, I need you to get up to this place called the Clark Chateau. We've got an attack. And we flew up there, got to the Clark Chateau, saw what unfurled. It was nuts. And we were right there, and got to be a part of this. And you could see the look in the sheriff's eyes, and he's trying to wrap his head around this, and he's not a believer in the paranormal. But there are, I think, throughout this season, hopefully you'll get to see those moments when you start to see the glimmer in his eyes that, man, I don't want to believe this, but I don't know. There's a preponderance of overwhelming evidence at this point that tips to the point there is something going on outside of the realm of normal, hence
something's
paranormal.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
there.
the show starts airing August 21st, which is a Sunday, on Travel Channel and Discovery Plus. They're dropping them simultaneously. It runs 8 weeks. So beginning here August 21st, every Sunday until the mid part of Ghosttober, as they call it on Travel Channel and Discovery. So we'll be doing that, and hopefully people will come along on this journey and enjoy it with us, and get a chance to see these things and enjoy the thrills and chills, but just enjoy the history and watching this unfurl. I'm very proud of the work that we did together as a team, and this was the first time we really worked with KD. And Cindy and I have had a background in it, but there were moments throughout our entire deal that we had to keep each other in check, because things were so overwhelming. There was not a place in Butte that you could go into where somebody didn't have some kind of story to share with you.
Oh, that's interesting. And it's
Yeah.
really interesting that you said they called, because so often like, you don't know how that will it shut
Mm-hmm.
people down and make them more closed. But in this case, it sounds like they were like, let's do
Well, when
this.
they wake up and there's something in their room, and they scream and the person's gone, they call the cops, because at this point you don't know what you're dealing with. And when the cops get there and everything's secured from the inside, and they've combed every square inch of the house, and there's no physical intruder, that leaves you with the fact that maybe this was something supernatural. And then you start piecing together their other experiences. You've got to start taking all that into account. So it's a delicate balance of investigating the normal and the abnormal, and understanding how these things come together and what it is that we're really dealing with.
Oh my gosh, that's so unnerving too when I've had that happen. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know what to do. So it's
No.
unnerving, and you get somebody else involved, and they're like, but it
Well,
sounds
and
like the police are a little bit more open now to.
there were a couple of the cops you'll see standing there with their arms folded, kind of giving us that look as we're talking to the guest. And you could see the I don't believe a thing that's going on here, but I'll give the respect to you that you're here to help these people, and let's just hope you do your job and don't mess things up. And that puts a little pressure on us, because We're not Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman. We're Dave, KD, and Cindy, and we're there to do the very best we can. But it's not like I can, throw a capsule of smoke and knock out the ghost, and we can drag him into our den and keep him contained. Or did we? You'll have to
Oh,
tune into Ghosts of Devil's Perch to find out. But yeah, we
whatever.
have a good time doing it, and it's a really fun, I think, interesting atmosphere to be in.
That's awesome. And was this one of the biggest? Uh, I don't. You can't. It's like multiple investigation. I don't even know the
Right.
word. It seems like it needs a whole other word for you guys spending so much time in one town
Yeah, this is the
doing.
longest time I've ever been in one location. I mean, I've visited Queen Mary multiple times, the Stanley Hotel multiple times, Eastern State Penitentiary multiple times, Waverly Hills Sanitarium multiple times. I've been to these locations, but it's not like spending 90 days entrenched in that area. And that's what we did. We became a part of the community. We became a part of what was going on. And their boots on the ground. And like I said, one story would kind of, somebody'd find out you're in their diner, the dining supper club, and having dinner, and somebody comes over and they're like, "Are you one of the guys filming a TV show?" And yeah, yeah. And it's a paranormal show. Yeah. And you see them get that look on their face like, "Oh God." And then they're like, "I've had something really weird happen to me for the last couple of months." And then they start to tell you their story.
Oh
And
wow,
and then they wave over one of the waiters and they're like, "This is Bernard, and Bernard had this happen." And that's why I said it was really interesting to see the way so many people talk about it and are dealing with it. And they're not necessarily flagrantly out about their paranormal experiences, but they're not hiding them either.
that's. And did you get any? Pardon me. When that happened, did any of
Mm-hmm.
those interactions lead to where we see you go in the show? Oh
I
no, we
guess you'll
have
have to
to.
tune in to find out.
Oh, I love it. You're so good at this all the time. So good at this. And I'm just going to leave it right there because I
Cool.
promised you I would keep it short. And that's a perfect way to end. But the Ghosts
Well,
of
and if I
Devils.
can mention, I
Oh,
host a show called The Paranormal 60, and
yes, I was just going
it's live every Monday and Friday on YouTube,
to.
and then the
Okay.
audio is fed out to just about every podcast platform out there. But Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I'm going to come on and do a show with one of the people from the episode that just took place on the Sunday. So we're gonna go back and review the episode of Ghosts of Devil's Perch, with maybe Cindy one episode, KD with one episode, Chris Fisk, the town historian, maybe one or two of the experiencers, other experts and paranormal investigators that you've seen on TV will join me. And we're going to do that every Tuesday or Wednesday night and give the audience a chance to ask us questions, pick our brain about behind the scenes stuff on those episodes, some of the funny stuff that didn't make it, some of the stuff that, we know couldn't be fit into that. It's tough when you're filming in a location for 4 to 5 days and you're filming 12 to 14 hours a day. And then all that has to be pared down to 42 minutes.
Oh my
There's,
gosh.
there's only so much story that can be told. So we're going to be there to kind of share these insights. And the show begins airing August 21st, Sunday. And then I think Tuesday night, I'll have Chris Fisk, the historian, on with me to kind of introduce him to my audience and answer questions. So, whether you're interested in just the show, you can follow the live Tuesday or Wednesday show. If you're interested in the paranormal overall, you can listen to my shows Mondays and Fridays. And then these special edition episodes, it'll come Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
So there's Dave Schrader, like all except for like what, when Thursday and Saturday? Is that the only 2 days?
Well, it won't be Tuesday and Wednesdays. It'll either be Tuesday this week or
Oh,
Wednesday,
Tuesday.
that
I
kind of
see.
thing. Yeah, I just have to, it's
Okay.
going to depend on the guests and when I can get them. They have lives. I know they're not just waiting around for my call and to hang out, but we're putting it together, and we might even have some old friendly faces pop in on the show
Like
from
Shane.
past seasons and other shows. Maybe Shane, maybe. I mean, I do like that little fella, so I might have him pop on and talk to us about this. And there's a couple of poor Dave moments in the series, and I might have Shane come on to discuss if he thinks I finally got my karma comeuppance for all the places I sent him. So,
Oh
yep,
no. Oh gosh, that's awesome. I'm so
yeah,
glad you mentioned that because I was gonna
thank you.
ask about the parent, but I didn't know you were gonna do all that. So see, you're so
Yeah,
good. I learned so much every
I
time
try.
you
Thank
do
you.
this. Thank you. You're wonderful.
I appreciate that. Well, check it out. Paranormal 60 every Monday and Friday live. And then the audio goes out right afterwards. That's my podcast. So you can watch the live video, or you can listen to just the audio version by subscribing, whatever platform you listen to the Paranormal 60. The new show, Ghosts of Devil's Perch, every Sunday between August 21st through mid-Ghosttober, and you'll be able to keep up with us there. So watch it. Oh, and one other quick tip. This is the best way to save your favorite shows, because if you're like me, you wait till your series is over, then you binge watch all the episodes, which is what everybody does. And then they go, why did our show get canceled? Everybody I know watches it. But when everybody binges it 6, 8, 9 weeks after it ends up airing, it does no good for the ratings. So watch it in the first day or within the first 48 hours. Those are the things that keep your favorite shows alive. And I'm not telling you that just to save my show and keep us going, but whatever show you like, if a show comes out on Friday, watch it before Sunday. And if you know you can't, but you DVR'd it, turn it on, let it play in the background while you're taking a shower and getting ready for the day, and then just go back and watch that episode when you're ready to binge all of them. But let your voice be heard by putting on that episode and letting it air in the 4 to 48 hours.
So they know. That's a fantastic tip, because that happens so much. People are like, why'd that get canceled? It was so good. Like Holzer Files, everybody was really not happy about. And I think some people still don't realize, but they'll see Ghost of Devil's Perch come out and be like, hey, what's going on with?
So, well, and we've been mentioning it on social media for the better part of a year and a half that we were not picked up for another season.
Oh, has it been that long?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. All last year we were off from Ghost Adventures or Holzer Files. I was off much longer on Ghost Adventures, but we weren't. We stopped filming quite a while ago. It's been a year now since we filmed this show. We wrapped up in November of last year. So it takes a while to put the shows together and then get them an air date. So it's been quite a while. The Holzer Files was such a blast and such a great show. And if you haven't watched it, folks, Holzer Files on Travel and Discovery Plus. You can watch all the back episodes, check it out. But people are finding us more and more in reruns. I think we missed the opportunity. I think if we'd have named it Holzer's Ghost Files, more people would have found us. But when you're up against Ghost Nation, Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, Kindred Spirits, Destination Fear, Holzer Files, a lot of people didn't know what that meant. You have to tell them in the title, this is a ghost show. So this new one, we've got it covered. Ghosts of Devil's Perch. So if those two words don't get your attention, you're lost to me anyway. So, right. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for joining me, and good luck. Congrats on the new show.
Thank you.